The Star Wars universe, as we all know by now, is massive and ripe with a history that had taken me months, even years to fully cover. Throughout this eventful history, there were many periods of peace and prosperity, with the galaxy seeing a dramatic rise in economic activity and therefore quality of life. With that said, good times don't last forever, and they are sometimes succeeded by intense periods of death, destruction, and chaos. Today's video will highlight one of the darkest of these dark periods, and if you're unfortunate enough to be born an alien, you weren't in for a fun time. Around 12,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, the Republic was controlled by multiple Supreme Chancellors, and the Jedi were on Ossus, a planet that had been at the heart of the Order for a millennium. With that said, due to hyperspace travel being a relatively new concept, intergalactic voyages were not yet commonplace, and many of the hyperspace lanes we see in the prequels and original trilogies had not yet been charted. As a result of this, there was not much dialogue between the Jedi and the Supreme Chancellors on Coruscant, which likely could have contributed to the extreme ideological divide seen when the Supreme Chancellors adopted a religion known as PSD. Not only did the religion reconstruct the entire Republic electoral system, limiting the Supreme Chancellor's seat to one, but they were also avid believers that humans were the superior species, and that all aliens were a plague to the galaxy. This train of thought subsequently led to their eventual downfall. Before we get into the cult's defeat, however, we must first discuss their history. The cult popped up around 11,956 BBY, following calls by the Coruscanti to purge the Irredeemables, aka aliens, and halt their influx into the galactic center. Contis Pex I, the first of a long line of PSD leaders by this name, took control of the Galactic Republic, and subsequently limited the Supreme Chancellor's seat to one. He, along with his successors, wanted as many aliens dead as humanly possible, and thus launched a series of crusades against sentient non-human populations. These crusades were brutal and lasted almost an entire millennium, with the PSD crusaders starting out in the core worlds and progressing all the way to the Outer Rim. As the crusades progressed, multiple planets and organizations including the Jedi Order, Republic Navy, and various bureaus defected from the Republic to the Alaskan government, a longtime rival of the Galactic Center for the seat of the Republic, causing the first galaxy-wide civil war. The war, however, was brought to an abrupt end at the Battle of Uquine in 10,966 BBY. At this point, the Kamasi, a peaceful species affected by the PSD occult, had convinced the Jedi Order, along with the remaining Republic forces, Duros, Hergliks, Hutt clans, and most surprisingly the Renunciates, a traitorous PSD subcult, to take a stand against this religious dictatorship. One of the biggest blessings in disguise, however, came in the form of the Bureau of Ships and Services. This seemingly neutral faction had had enough of the corrupt PSD government, and secretly allied themselves with the Jedi Coalition. Being the manufacturers of the majority of the PSD fleet, the Bureau implanted a secret code in every ship that would force a rogue hyperspace jump when triggered. This ultimately proved to be vital, as when the Resistance, orchestrated by Beeld Octavius and the Kamasi, had officially begun, the Bureau of Ships and Services activated the code just as the entire PSD fleet were about to jump to hyperspace, and forced more than half of the fleet to be lost in hyperspace forever. Others found themselves in deep space, with all travel communications and weapon systems offline. Those unfortunate enough to find themselves in this position would eventually die from lack of supplies. The remaining found themselves walking into an ambush led by the Jedi Kamasi coalition. A strike team then boarded a PSD flagship titled the Flame of Synthera, being able to capture the Chancellor Contis Pex XIX early on into the battle. This, along with heavy losses, a missing fleet, and no means of escape, forced the entire unconditional surrender of the corrupt Republic forces, and the disbandment of the entire PSD occult. Contis Pex XIX was then sentenced to life imprisonment on Kamars, where he later died. Following this successful battle, the PSD were never to be seen again, and the Jedi Master known as Beeld Octavius assumed leadership of both the Jedi Order and the Republic, later becoming the first Jedi Grandmaster to ever hold the position of Supreme Chancellor of the Republic. Garnering full support from all the sectors of the universe and everyone within the Order, Beeld Octavius abolished all anti-alien sentiments, and ultimately led the galaxy into more than a millennium of peace and prosperity, marking the end of one of the darkest known times in Star Wars history, and making the galaxy, once again, safe for individuals of any species.